You start to read about the impacts of screen time on kids and social media in particular, you can't find anybody that says it's a good idea.
Children are spending more time on social media, and they're doing it at an earlier age. The National Institutes of Health estimates 40% of kids between 8 and 12 are using those platforms. Now, North Carolina lawmakers want to make it harder for those kids to have online access. Representative Jeff Zenger wrote House Bill 301 with the goal of additional protection for children online.
Welcome to the video, everyone. This is Justin Paul. So I'm doing a quick reaction here to North Carolina House Bill 301. So some of the key things within this bill is it's going to prohibit those under 14 from creating a social media account, requires parental permission for children 14 to 15 to have an account, and requires age verification as well as data security. So just trying to limit the use of children on social media. I think this is a great idea. I did a story of a teacher who was cyber stalking a kid or teenager that they taught on social media on the TikTok, not TikTok, but it was either TikTok or Snap. I can't really recall at this moment, but just cyber stalking. Um, we do know it's all type of stuff out there on that internet, all type of stuff on these social media platforms, and we have to try to put something in place to you know limit what these kids are being exposed to at such an early age. And they could be exposed to a lot within their own homes, but you know they shouldn't also be exposed to stuff that's like out in the world that they definitely shouldn't have any eyes on. And as they were saying, over 40%, which that number could be higher. Definitely 40% is definitely a baseline, because it's definitely a lot of kids that are on these social media platforms, and not even on these social media platforms, but they play games to where other adults could be also playing the games with them. They could be, in a game with someone that's older and they're telling them certain stuff. And, it's just, with technology, a lot of stuff comes with the advancement of technology and stuff like that. You could be playing Call of Duty, Roblox, Fortnite, anything, and it could be kids on there with adults. We see it all the time. But I do think this House bill is a great idea, and hopefully it gets passed with no opposition. Because if the social media platforms aren't going to do anything to prevent kids from signing up, then we have to put it into law, and definitely put the onus on the parents to decide whether their kids are going to have access to social media platforms. And I do think it takes a mental toll on them, especially if they're being influenced by certain things, or they may be getting cyberbullied, or they may just spend their whole day just looking at a tablet screen or a computer screen or a phone screen, and they're not able to do anything else, don't know how to be sociable, have no clue as far as what the actual like playing and being a kid is. And then a lot of times they're looking at adults or looking at shade room teens and all this type of stuff, and just being influenced by the wrong people, really.
Bill would make it against the law for a child under 14 to create a social media account, as well as requiring age verification and parental permission for children who are 14 or 15. In addition to concerns about children falling victim to online deception, health experts say too much time on social media also has mental health risks. After House Bill 301 passed the House, Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, reached out to offer support.
Their big point was you got to include apps. You got to include apps in this. So they helped us with some great language.
There are similar state-based legislative efforts, including in Utah and Texas. Internationally, Australia banned all social media for teens under 16 in December, and France is working on the same thing. Back in the U.S., the Kids Off Social Media Act is proposed at the federal level. Zenger expects the Senate could take up the revised version in the spring.
So yeah, I did a video on the Australia ban on social media for, children of a certain age, and I'm happy that North Carolina is definitely moving in that way. They also said, I think, Colorado and Texas, and they have something kids off social media on the federal level, and here's another
Well, here we are at
clip.
10:01 p.m. Do you know what your children are doing right now? Well, there's a good chance they're on social media. More young people are spending more time doing it, and they're doing it earlier. In fact, the National Institutes of Health now estimates 40% of kids between 8 and 12 have signed on. Good evening and welcome. I'm Neil McNeil.
And I'm Madison Forsey. Republican State Representative Jeff Zenger, who serves for Forsyth County, sponsored House Bill 301, dubbed Social Media Protections for Children Under 16. It would make it illegal for kids under 14 to create social media accounts. Our Cassie Fambro joins us in the studio. Cassie, what are the chances that something like this could even pass?
Well, Madison and Neil, it's actually a pretty strong bill. It passed last year 106-6 in the House of Representatives, and that shows strong bipartisan support, and it's expected to move forward in the Senate this year.
When you start to read about the impacts of screen time on kids and social media in particular, you can't find anybody that says it's a good idea.
North Carolina.
Yeah, so I agree. It's pretty much just going to go over some of the same stuff as the other clip did, but let's see.
Mine also has mental health risks.
There can be higher rates of depression. There can be increased anxiety with social media use. Feelings of loneliness can increase, being left out.
She says it's more important than ever for parents to check in with their kids about social media.
Keep lines of communication open with your kids and teens. Know what they're doing on social media. Know who they're talking to. Know what platforms they're on.
After House Bill 301 passed the House.
Yeah. So it passed the House. It's going to the Senate. And she was giving great advice. Definitely keep an open communication with your kids. Man, 8 to 12, I just feel like that's just super young. Just way too young for them to, know how to manage all this. Again, all this stuff is, Facebook isn't new, and Instagram isn't new, Snapchat and all this stuff, but for kids it's new. And like they were saying, anxiety, depression, feeling of loneliness and stuff like that. I wasn't that young when these type of things came out. I was actually in high school when Facebook came out, and I remember at first when it came out, it was only for college kids, and then certain people found out how to create profiles on there as far as lying about their age and stuff like that. And then it just was open to kids that were younger than college age kids, and then after that a whole bunch of other platforms started showing up. But even before Facebook, there was Black Planet, and probably several other things. And then of course everyone remembers when there was chat rooms and stuff like that. So it's always been danger on the internet as far as for kids and teenagers and stuff like that. It's always been danger on the internet. It's just now, with every kid having a phone and just having access to go download apps, you definitely have to have safeguards on these phones and stuff like that. Like, if a kid wants to get a certain app or something like that, if they try to get it, it should definitely send a notification to the parent's phone for approval on whether they can have that app on their phone or not. Even down to like, YouTube and stuff. They have YouTube Kids, but again, like I was saying in other videos, kids know how to go into the web browser and go to the regular YouTube and be looking at all the stuff they shouldn't be looking at. And even though you may stop it for your kid, that doesn't mean that their friends are going to stop it. So they could be on FaceTime with their friends, and their friends share screen, and then they're both looking at it. So it's just a lot, man. But of course, everything's going to start within the home. Education starts in the home first, and we have to be on top of this type of stuff because the internet is a real dangerous place. It could be, a fun place, an informational place, but it also can be very dangerous. And we have to be well aware of that and not naive to that. So I'm gonna go ahead and close out this video. If you guys like my content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. This is Justin Paul. Peace.